are officially live, broadcasting only on onedealaway.com/live. This is Money Matters. My name is Nev, and today, boy, do we have news today. All right, we're going to get a little bit controversial today. I'm not going to lie. I'm going to give you some FOMO, maybe, FUD, but it won't be fake news. Everything we're delivering here is going to be happening we're going to be sharing everything that we're able to find online. So one of the things that I want to share with you is this particular video right here. We're going to watch it. And yes, I'm going to explain exactly why am I showing you a pile of trash. If you pay attention to what's on this video and why this kid is having a good old time, this is money. Fiat money. There's so much of it, people are throwing it away. And of course, we're going to talk about why that is. Why am I sharing this video with you and how it applies to today's episode? It does have something to do with crypto and the news from the 166th wealthiest individual in the world. Right? So 166, we were like, give me number one. Look, it's kind of rough to even get into the top 200, I would think. But then again, he's in the top three in Mexico. And it has to do with Bitcoin. And Bitcoin did something absolutely insane while you were sleeping. It went above $18,000. That puppy has been pumping like crazy since we did this show in the last 24 hours. It has done some amazing, amazing stuff. We're also going to be discussing about the, like I said, controversial piece that might have something to do with, shutdowns happening in U.S. and, of course, in Denmark as well. We are going to be taking a look at the market. We're going to be discussing also a big old plan that NASA had with space. And last time we talked about it, it was about mining for gold. Now it's something different, and it has to do with the energy sector. I do want to welcome everybody who is watching this live only on onedealaway.com/live. Make sure you sign in. Make sure you say hello. We're going to do a Q&A at the end of the show as always. If you don't have an account, it is absolutely free. Sign up. And the cool part is you get a free course out of the whole deal. If you're watching this elsewhere, say YouTube or Facebook or wherever else you might find this video, do me a huge favor, smash the like button at the moment that something you learned that is brand new or something that you like or agree with or, hey, even disagree with, and then leave me a comment of why you're disagreeing. Subscribe, hit notification button so you get notified for every video that we post live over here. And as one of the viewers had said in the comments, this is the highest underrated video ever that everybody should be watching, and I agree. If you're listening this on a podcast service, welcome. Some of the stuff you might not be able to see, but you'll be able to hear it. And of course, whenever you have a moment, you can always go to Money Matters YouTube channel and watch the episode and look at the charts. Sometimes we look at charts. We're going to take a look at the charts today, but I think I do a fairly good job of explaining what in the world is going on that you will understand a whole bunch of stuff. All right, y'all. If you're in for money, for business, for how to actually invest and prevent losing money by the government, them throwing your money away like we just saw in the video, this is a show for you. Good morning and happy Wednesday to you. And if you have been investing in Bitcoin back in February when I told you to, and in March when I told you to, and you've heard about it, you would say, yes, it's a very happy Wednesday. And, Thanksgiving, let me tell you, my turkey just might look a little bit more orange than usual with a giant B stamped right on it. Something to be thankful for. But again, it is a market. Markets do change. and it's nobody knows exactly how things are going to go. So let's go in, get started with the news. Then we're going to take a look at the markets, and I will explain why I played the money trashing video for you. So, first thing first, NASA. NASA is planning to build a base and a nuclear power plant on the moon by 2026, and they're inviting proposals from companies ready to take on the challenge. So, what in the world are they doing and why? Well, they're creating the construction of a 10 kilowatt class fission surface power system to be used for demonstrative purposes, manufactured, assembled on Earth, then shipped to Moon in a vehicle, and then assembled over there. And of course, demonstration will continue for about a year. If successful, it would open a door to other missions to the Moon and Mars. Thank you very much. And here is the quote coming straight from NASA. 4 units providing 10 kilowatts of electric power each would provide enough power to establish an outpost on the Moon or Mars. Large amounts of electrical power on planetary surfaces would enable large-scale exploration, establishment of human outposts, and utilization of in situ, and I don't know how you say this, in situ resources, while allowing them for the possibility of commercialization. Power plant demonstrator will have the capacity to run for 10 years, according to the plan, with its generation capacity enough to power the equivalent of 3 to 4 large households. So, NASA is planning that, maybe Elon Musk is not all that crazy with going to Mars. And now, with all of us being locked down, you might be thinking, maybe that's not such a crazy idea to escape the whole thing. The virus is spreading, the pandemic is full on, the closures are happening all over the place, and we're going to be talking a little bit about that in this particular article. Now, this one could be a bit more controversial, and this may or may not reflect all of my opinions right over here, but I thought it was a very, very interestingly written article that I wanted to share with you. And here we go. Here is a nice little comic. I like it. You have a wife and a husband sitting there, drinking plenty of alcohol, trying to survive the pandemic. And the husband says, "Did the last shutdown crush the virus?" And the wife says, "Nope, just our souls." So, an interesting drawing for sure. Thanks to the dreaded COVID-19, it's good. It's goodbye Thanksgiving, and soon enough farewell Christmas. And like I said, I've called it weeks ago, months ago, that they're going to cancel Christmas, they're going to cancel Thanksgiving, they're going to cancel New Year's, everything is going to be canceled. But who knows? There might be a change coming. Having discovered that Americans have lost their spines and are now easily penned inside their homes like two-legged sheep, the petty potentates who rule, not govern, rule far too many states and municipalities have concluded that we will never fight back, never resist, and never reject their latest whimsical edicts. And of course, then they go out to point out of all of the closures that are happening in California, New England, all over the place. Some places are much more liberal, some not so much. Some are shutting down, some are reopening. Some are saying you have to wear masks, some are saying don't worry about the mask. Some are saying this will kill you, some are saying it won't kill you. Some of the leadership says, like Pinocchio, will only take a few days to slow the spread, and then you're locked down for like weeks or months, which we've seen experienced, I believe, in Australia. Correct me if I am wrong on there. But basically, it's a whole, they are basically arguing that there are vague promises that things are going to be better next year, and it's going to reopen, and everything is going to be beautiful. And the article says, don't hold your breath. And I think that everybody's kind of excited and ready for this darn pandemic to leave us. Will it happen? Will it not? I'm sure it will happen at some point in the future. Is it going to happen in January 2021? Probably not. Is it going to happen in June of 2021? I have no clue. Will the vaccine truly work? I don't know. Will they govern and mandate everybody to take on the vaccine? I have no clue what's going to happen. But what we do know is that the mandatory use of the vaccine and stuff was rolled out in Denmark. So in Denmark, a law was proposed that would have given authorities the power of forcibly injecting people with the coronavirus vaccine and it has been abandoned after 9 days of public protests. Enact mandatory quarantine measures against anyone infected with the dangerous disease. Well, they're already doing that, so that doesn't really matter. But it was the part about the vaccination that caused the biggest uproar. And here we have a person on Twitter basically stating, quote, in Denmark, the national government proposed a new epidemic law which includes the right to conduct forced physical exams, mandate isolation, and allow police-directed physical coerced vaccination. The people resisted. The proposal was dropped. Well done, Denmark. And people I'm sure are split on it, like they're going to be split here in the United States, like they are split all over the world. But here is a quote from the article. People who refuse the above can, in some situations, be coerced through physical detainment with police allowed to assist. And this was basically in the proposed law. However, after 9 straight days, the protests against the new law, it has now been scrapped. So this law has basically gone bye-bye for right now. Is a new version going to come out? Probably. But the interesting thing that is going to happen is what is going to happen, what is going to transpire with the laws and regulations in United States, in Canada, in rest of the Europe, in Latin America, in Australia, right around the globe. And I think the approach might be quite a bit different, and the sort of resistance or the lack thereof might also be very, very different. We will see how this is going to plan out. But it will be very interesting. I think that many governments will attempt to mandate. We'll see if the people will rise or not. I think that there will be a mandate for the vaccine to be, like you have to be vaccinated in order to jump on a plane, train, bus, or anything else. I think that there's going to be many employers that are going to say, you want to keep your job, you got to be vaccinated. And so we'll see how that is going to play out. But it's a very interesting, very controversial topic. I know everybody has very strong opinions about it. I personally, vaccines, I mean, I've been vaccinated when I was born, it's like, you don't get to vote, I mean, you can cry all you want. They don't really care. They don't really care. They give you the little dummy thing that nothing comes out of. Thank you very much. They start cheating you from day one with that little dummy, suck on this, and shut up kind of thing. Play pretend that you're getting something. So, our parents actually cheat us out. We think we're gonna get some milk, we're gonna get something out of it, and it's a doozy. But I was a rebel from that age. Before I could walk, I didn't like those things. So I figured, you know what? I am going to self-soothe. I got 10 of these, I got 10 fingers. I'm going to choose one or two that I like, and that's what I'm going to use. So you can keep your pacifier to yourself. Pacify yourself. I'm not taking it. If you're going to give me something that is not my own, it better have milk on the other end. But anyways, so, I was vaccinated and stuff, and that's fine. I don't have anything against the vaccine. I just feel like it's a bit more rushed than I would like it to be. And you see all of these like news reports of like, oops, we had this vaccine, 10 years ago, and now people are like, having all kinds of medical problems, like they're growing tails and like, have be blind, and their children are like all kinds of, problems. And I'm like, I don't think so, man. I want to know what's in that thing, how you came up with it, what are side effects, how it all works, test it out, and then let's talk in 2 years. So anyways, that's kind of how I feel about the whole thing. But again, we'll see. We'll see. I might not have an option. You might not have an option. But I'm curious. Let me know in the chat. Let me know in the comments of how you feel about the whole thing. Now that we've done a little bit of controversial conversations, let's go and talk about the fun stuff, because it's so interesting. You look at the traditional sort of news and stuff, and everything is about the election, which are still very contested, and you probably very likely have an opinion of your own. You agree with one side, don't agree with one side, have no clue what happened, could care less what happened. So we all kind of sit on some sort of spectrum somewhere. And so there's a lot of that stuff. There's a lot about the vaccine. There's a lot about like, this one is reporting earnings and the stock is dumping. That one is reporting earnings and the stock is going to pump. And so we don't know exactly what's going on. But then you enter the world of crypto and you have this like drama that is super interesting. It's kind of like watching, a really interesting like novela. It's a daylight drama of what's going on and what's happening, and there's always these like really cool and positive news for the most part. I mean, sometimes they're negative news. And here we go. Let's take a look at what's happening in the market, and let us refresh to see where we are. And boy, we've already pumped $100 since we started, since I pulled it up, which not wasn't all that long ago. So what do we see right now? Well, Bitcoin is again well over $18,000, currently standing at $18,215.14, and it has pumped 7.3% in 24 hours, up 19.3% in 7 days. Ethereum is standing at $481.32, up 3.1% in 24 hours, 6.9% in 7 days. When we scroll down the top 100, we do see a lot of green, some red. Green seems to be slightly larger than red. But before we do that, let's go and take a look at the what bumped the most in 24 hours. I guess it could have bumped as well. BCD is a Bitcoin diamond. It's a new thing, it looks like. I don't know much about it. Maybe it's not a new thing, but it has pumped 30.5% in the 24-hour period. BTG, Bitcoin Gold, 26% pump. YFI has gone through some insane pumps, and is at 15.5%. And I actually do want to take a look at this puppy with you in a moment. So we're going to let that load, but we're just going to take a look at everything else. RSR 14.6% up, S&T 12.9. So as you can see, there's a lot of really nice pumps on the dumping side. The largest one is Sushi at negative 13.2%. SDX is the negative 10.6. Comp is negative 8.2. LRC is negative 7.1. Then we get into the sixes and down. So not a lot of the dumping side. And even Sushi, though, it has dumped 13.2% in 24 hours, which I'm not crazy about Sushi, but then again, that's just my personal opinion. I mean, it has bumped 74.7% in 7 days. So at some point, it should have a bit of pullback. And we're going to talk about a bit of pullback and should it have, should it not have with Bitcoin. So stay tuned for that. On the 7 day side, Sushi was the largest winner, followed by HBTC at 62.5%, VT 39.2, BCD 36.9, BTG 36.7, Rune 33.4, Waves 30. I mean, bunch of coins have been pumping like crazy on the dumping end. There are a few here and there, nothing huge. The biggest ones are going by Ampleforth down 18.3%, LRC down 16.9%, EGLD down 13.8, Mana down 10.3, and then you go into the single digits with Algo, EWT, Maker, and so on and so forth. But let's take a look at Yearn.finance, YFI, and it's currently trading at 23,000 and $8.74. Now, if you have been following the channel, you know that we have called that this particular coin would have gone down because of the pattern reversal. So let's go in and take a look at the 180-day, which I don't even think that the coin existed for that long, but maybe it has. So it started way back when, and it kind of pumped. It went up to like 16,000, stuff. It was beating Bitcoin like crazy. Then it pumped to this like on August, 31st of August, came to 35,000. Then it came back down to 22. Then it pumped to like 43,000 something in September, September 12th. Then it came back down to 21,800. Then it came back up to 31,000, and then it slid. And why did it slide? Well, because of the pattern that if you're watching this right now, you can actually see it if you're listening. But you can take a look, any charting service, you'll be able to look. You're just going to look for YFI coin. You can see that we have this sort of shoulder, head, and then shoulder pattern happening. And, and then right over here, you have this basically neckline that is happening, and that is a horrible drawing right here. You wouldn't draw it freelance like this. You would actually use a charting service. So TradingView it has a free one, but you will see that there is a clear down piece right here. So maybe this is a better line right here. Forget this one right over here. So don't pay attention to the top one, pay attention to the bottom one, because that's much more accurate, even though it's not 100% accurate. But when you see the shoulder, head, shoulder pattern, it's typically a reversal pattern, which means that it's going to go down. And I've already explained this in one of the previous videos, but I just want to recap it in case you haven't seen one of those videos or you haven't listened to this stuff. So of course we have gone into the clear downward spine piece, and then it looks like we have hit a low right over here, and now we are entering a brand new bullish trend going up. And right now we have actually broken over the neckline, which does show a bullish pattern for sure. So at some point in the past, let me eliminate all of this stuff so that you can actually see stuff. But at some point, it went back down. If we take a look at 90 days, you can kind of see what happened as well. 30 days, you can see that it went down in the beginning of October, right after the election. We have hit a low of $7,716, and now we are trading at what did I say, $23,008. So that's a massive gain that we have seen in 30 days. That's a 50% gain. Of course, in 14 days, in 30 days, in 14 days, it has gone up 145.2%. That is absolutely a ridiculous gain. And in the last 24 hours is 15.4%. So pretty cool. Congrats if you hold any of the coins that have pumped. I mean, I was actually on a call yesterday with a friend last night, and he was helping me out with my project. He's a friend and a mentor at the same time. And we were talking and we were joking. We're like, you literally can like close your eyes and just like pick anything and hold for a few days, and you are going to make money. Not the best strategy, joking strategy. I don't recommend you do that. If you're going to get projects that you really like, that you believe in. Be very careful not to FOMO in and just put money in because a price is pumping somewhere. Do some fundamental analysis, do some technical analysis. We're going to do some of that stuff here in the show. Read the news, follow the giant patterns, understand where the things are going and why. And one of the best ways to do that, of course, is to stay with Money Matters, and to stay with the to stay within the channel and to watch this and to listen to the show, because we do explain a lot of things in this particular show when it comes to your money, right? And I think it's important to be part of it. The other part that I think is also going to be helpful, watch some of the other videos. I mean, I'm not the type of person saying you just gotta watch my stuff because I'm the only one. No. I make mistakes all the time. I make errors all the time. And so it's important to watch and listen to other people to create your own point of view. That's my goal, is to provide my point of view so that you can to help create your own point of view right here. So that's one thing. The other thing is that you are welcome to, and I would love for you to join onedealaway.com. It's number one, dealaway.com. When you land to the page, you should see my super goofy photo. Okay, it's not goofy. It's actually a lovely photo that a very dear friend, colleague, student, mentor, has taken and has helped me kind of with it. She's an amazing human being. If you watch some of my videos or watch some of the stuff of like teaching and stuff, she's actually in some of the videos because she wants to help me and help you learn on both of our conversations and stuff. And she's an amazing human being, and she's a career coach. So if you're looking to change careers, she's definitely a person to help you make that switch. If you're interested, let me know. I will hook you up with her for sure. because just because she's a solid individual, she doesn't pay me or anything like that. Like I don't make money from it. I just, I believe in helping people, people helping people. But you can join us and you get Crypto 101 free course out of it, where I do share about technical analysis and the as well as the fundamental analysis. I was going to say psychological analysis, but I don't do I don't do psychological analysis for people. Sorry, if you were hoping for that, not the show, not the person, not the show. But here we go. So, what is actually happening inside the Bitcoin, and why did I show you video? You may or may not recognize this gentleman on the photo, and if you do, congrats. I didn't. So I don't know what that says about me, but I didn't. This is Ricardo Salinas Pliego. He's the second wealthiest man in Mexico, and of course the 166th wealthiest man in the world. He has revealed that 10% of his liquid portfolio is invested in the leading cryptocurrency Bitcoin. He asserted that paper money is worth nothing, adding, quote, that is why it is always good to diversify your investment portfolio. Now, he was actually showing a video captured in a Latin country. It's captured in Venezuela, depicting banks throwing out garbage bags filled with paper money into a dumpster. Let me show you the video again. This is money. This is money being thrown in. I'm going to mute it so that because you can't really, it's just a kid. There's it looks like 3-year-old kid playing in money, and they're literally dumping crates and crates and crates of money into this giant pile, because when it gets printed, it's irrelevant. I mean, the kid is literally like what we do with snow here in the United States, where we make like a giant mountain, you climb something and dive into it, or do that with leaves. The kid is doing that with money. I mean, look at the piles and piles and piles of this stuff. And so this is very important to understand, because if the printing continues, and the printing has been continuing, money ends up being worthless. I would know. I would know for sure, because I've lived through hyperinflation. Some of you know that. Some of you don't know that. I grew up in Yugoslavia. Well, that's what it was called back then. But then we went through the Civil War, and now we're like gazillion little countries. Okay, it's not gazillion, but it's definitely not one. So right now, technically speaking, I would be originally from Serbia, that part of Yugoslavia. Which part of Yugoslavia? So that part of Yugoslavia. And we have gone through severe economic crisis that honestly, when I compare our living back then of what has happened, to where we are right now, coronavirus, beer overflow, whatever thing is a little baby comparing to what we had to deal with. And is that potentially coming our way globally? I don't know. I personally would not like to live through that again if I don't have to. I mean, the good news is we lived, we survived, most of us did, but many people have lost a lot of wealth. Your money was disappearing faster than you would make it. Your $100 bill, which used to buy groceries for a month, turned into groceries for a week, turned into groceries for a day, turned into maybe like a couple of things, turned into an apple, turned into a chewing gum, turned into nothing. And it's hard to try to imagine what that looks like if you've never lived through it. But it's literally, like you have these like piles of cash, and they don't buy jack anything. We were all multi-trillionaires, but we're broke because our trillions couldn't buy anything. I actually have, hold on a second. I actually have right over here, I think you can see it maybe. But these are banknotes that I have held, and I actually have them as a reminder. I also happen to collect money, as numismatic, but also as well preservation. So, and I've been doing this ever since I was a kid. I was fascinated with money, both coins and paper currencies, ever since I know of myself, because I found it fascinating that you could have pieces of paper that you could exchange and like get stuff. And I always thought that was kind of cool. And, I really wanted to always get like the most valuable and like have the largest collection. And so I do have collections from like all over the place, and I do enjoy it because I just think it's fascinating to have these coins from Rome, for example, that who knows who used back then and what it bought. Did it buy somebody's house? Was somebody paid to like eliminate a ruler of the day with that coin? Like, you just don't know. And the story kind of that I can paint in my head is what drove me. But now that I have this particular collection right here from the 90s, during the Civil War, and prior to and during that economic crisis, was has a lot of sentimental value, not in a cherishing kind of I wish I could relive it again, but in the sort of strength of we've made it. And how did mom do that? How did dad do that? And how did the country survive? So there's a lot of lessons that live there. So Venezuela is going through that stuff, and so I can sympathize with it, because you literally could have backpack full of cash and it was worthless. Like, I mean, I was given real money to play with, and so I mean, I was running my own personal bank as a kid with like fake money. And so this is a real thing. And so of course he posted this stuff, and here's the video. I don't know that that's the video that I shared with you that he posted. I couldn't find the original, but I wanted to share with you a video that is probably very similar with it. Quote: Bitcoin protects the citizen from government expropriation. Today, I recommend the Bitcoin Pattern. This book is the best and most important to understand Bitcoin. Yes, I have 10% of my liquid portfolio invested. This is the world's 166th wealthiest citizen that is significantly invested in Bitcoin. And of course, people are very, very excited about this whole thing, and they should be. And we're seeing more and more people starting to come out. And my question is, are you in it? And if you are, cool. If you're not, why not? Why not yet? What are you waiting for? Now, this is not the news, but I did want to share with you this one. $35 billion wealth management giant is giving client access to Bitcoin. So what is happening? Mariner Wealth Advisors is a registered investment advisory with more than $35 billion assets under advisement, and is partnering with Eagle Book Advisors to give clients access to Bitcoin. Mariner Wealth is tapping into BTC's separately managed account SMA to allow for financial advisors to allocate Bitcoin on behalf of clients who are looking for different strategies, of course. We expect cryptocurrency adoption to continue and the market to mature, driving the greater demand. Interest in Bitcoin among investment firms is on the rise as the price of Bitcoin is surging. Skybridge Capital, which manages $7.7 billion in assets, just revealed in an SEC filing that it may also invest in investment funds that provide exposure to digital assets. Now, of course, you can invest through these folks, right? You can invest through Grayscale and that kind of stuff, but you don't have to. You can go and just buy your own and just hold it. And if you don't know how to do that stuff, right? There's so many videos out there. If you're like, I don't want to do it with you, Nev, cool. There's so many videos out there explaining different cryptos, different coins, different chains, different wallets and stuff, and what they are. But you're welcome to just go in Crypto 101, absolutely free course. Like, literally, you are not paying a penny. You're not going to go in and enroll, and then next thing you know is like 10 days later, I'm going to charge you. I'm not going to do that. I want people to be educated. That is the mission of the whole thing. And I just want people to go and benefit, because yes, could it go down to zero? Sure. Should you put 100% of everything, borrow against your house and against your life and everything? no, I don't recommend you doing that. I mean, you do whatever you want to do. Obviously, none of this stuff is financial advice. I just personally think that it's absolutely silly to do that. I think that that's highly risky, and I am very risk averse, like incredibly risk averse. I am, I don't like to lose money. Like it bothers me. It really psychologically bothers me when that happens, and I don't like to spend money. It bothers me to do that, right? So like that's just who I am and how I'm built, and I've always been that way. I like to accumulate. I'm like a squirrel. I just like to collect my nuts and put them in my little house. And unlike a squirrel, I don't bury the holes and then forget where they are. But I like collecting it. I like collecting it and having it, and then in case of an emergency, like I can tap into it and be okay. And so again, you do you, I do me. I'm just saying, like, it's diversifying out of just paper money that again could be printed at will of the governments, and they are doing it. And the last thing you know is you're gonna land with something like this, where you are the guy who is shoving all of this cash right over here, and it's your kid or your grandkid who is playing in a pile of cash while you're trying to get it out of your house because you can't even freaking store it. That is what what we could potentially see. Is it going to happen with the dollar? I have no clue, y'all. Is there going to be a giant reset with everything? You bet your bottom dollar and your bottom that it will. It's going to happen. It's going to happen because currently the way we stand, where we stand financially, fiscally, in the whole global economy stuff, it's not working. And the bankers know it. The central bankers know it. The Bank of Banks know it. That's why IMF is calling for Bretton Woods 2.0. That's where they're looking to restructure. That's why every central bank is looking, how the hey do we create these central bank issued digital currencies, because they know that the current system does not and cannot last. And I know that many people are like, well, gold will do that. And it might to a degree, but whatever gold does, Bitcoin is more likely than not going to do even more, even more. So I do want to share with you a couple of the articles that we have right here. And one of them is coming from the Daily Chain, and it says Bitcoin to 20,000 and above. Is there a pullback expected soon? And this was, of course, released today, November 18th. So we're going to take a look. And you know that we have been pumping like crazy. Bitcoin was sitting around $10,000 at the beginning of September. I need you to remember that. Beginning of September, we're now second part of November. So we're looking month and a half, roughly. Month and a half. So that's what? 6 weeks. 6 weeks. Keep that in the back of your head. Beginning of September was 10,000, right? Right now is above 18,000. That's $8,000 gain, almost 100% gain. Not really, but I mean that's 8,000 over the 10,000, right? So eight. What is that? A 0.8 or right? So 80%. It has been steadily climbing ever since then. It took a month from September 2nd to make it to 11,000. Keep that in mind. It took an entire month to go from early September to get to 11,000. Then for 11 days to go from 11 to 12,000. 2 more days to go from 12 to 13. So basically, in 2 weeks, we went from 11,000 to 13,000, right? A jump of 2,000. So month to get to 11,000, 2 weeks to get to 13, 2 weeks to get to 14, and then it came from 14 to 18. Also has been 2 weeks. So it's starting to rise exponentially. If you start to look at, right, it's starting to rise exponentially. Is this in this time there has been very little correcting or pullback, and the rally has only gotten more rapid, as there was always predicted to be very few resistance level between the 10,000, or like once we broke that like 15 16 to about 20, everybody knew that it's going to be a very a low resistance level, because we haven't been there very much. Last time we were in these areas was in 2017, but at that point it was going parabolic up, and of course we knew what happened. it went straight down, and it didn't stop until we hit basically 3,000. So that was a giant drop that we've experienced, but it's still marching on. Now, the difference right now from then is that at that time, when you looked at Google Trends, Bitcoin was all the rage. Any conference you attended, anybody that said, I know about Bitcoin, everybody, masses would just kind of like swarm you. I mean, you would literally get taken down by people. People were throwing whatever money you wanted for you to quote unquote share the knowledge about it. And at that time, if I was like up on a stage and had the free course on Bitcoin and stuff, I mean, I would probably get like run over by the crowd. People were going nuts for it, absolutely nuts for it. Today, it's very different. The retail, the crowd is not quite there yet. They are probably watching what's happening with the election, probably still trying to figure out of like why did Disney dump and why did Carnival pump and all of that kind of stuff, right? So they're not quite in it. Vast majority of people who are in the market are the people that are in it for a long haul, and large institutional investors. That is who is entering the market. Large institutional investors. Now, these guys are smart when they buy. When they buy, they know how to buy without moving the price all that much. It does move, but it doesn't move all that much. When the crowd comes in, and they typically come at the top, but we're not seeing them yet, which is why I feel like, you know what, we're just reaching the all-time high and we're going to go up from there in the long term. Um, but, that's just my sort of where I feel about it. But let's see what the article says. The current PA could still very easily result in blow off towards the golden ratio multiplier currently at 19,000. Analysts were expecting the price to briefly consolidate in the 17,500 to 17,700 range as some traders took profits, but Bull appeared to intend to push BTC higher. Of course, we have rallied, and let's go and take a look at right now over here. So here we go. We're looking at the chart. Here is my, sort of analysis of like where we were at the 10,000 level and stuff. This is looking at the daily. This is looking at the daily chart, the daily candles, sorry, for sure. And you can see that, let's go and see if we can maybe change to 4 hours. It might be better. But you can see kind of what's been happening. We've been doing the stair stepping, right? Sideways up, sideways up, sideways up, sideways up. And you can very much see it over here. We have gone a little bit of sideways over the, 4 days in the 16,000 level. We have gone up, and you can see I was doing some drawing and playing around with stuff. But we have kind of gone straight up over here to above 18,000. If we take a look at the 1 hour candles, you can see that there's a little bit of consolidation on the 1 hour range, but we've kind of pushed above, and so I have this new potential support level at 17,900 dollar level, right? Or no, sorry, my apologies, 17,670 level. So it's that sort of the consolidation period that they are calling about. But again, we don't know where it's going to go. It could go up higher. It could consolidate. I would actually prefer that it consolidate just a little bit before it continue going. But again, I don't get to control what happens. The market has extended to the upside, breaking above the trend channel, and appears to be entering a blowout phase. The question is, what point does the rally become unsustainable? So here we go. If we look at the 1 hour candles, you can see I have the envelope right here. You can see we're very much within it. Nothing crazy is on the 1 hour side of things. If we change to the 4 hour side, you can see that we're still within the envelope, but we're hitting the upper bounds. And whenever we seem to hit the upper bounds within the 4 hour chart, what happens? We go a little bit of sideways. So right now, as you can see, we had that happen right here on the 5th of November, right? And we've kind of gone sideways since then. We have just hit that slightly here on 17th of November, so we could be potentially going sideways. If we take a look on the daily we're trading above above. It's still following the pattern, but it's definitely above the envelope, which whenever we had that, you can see it right over here. We've had not just sideways, but also pull downs. So you can kind of see here that we've gone from 11,971 on 2nd of August down to the bottom of roughly 10,000 in the 5th of September. So in about a month, we've kind of slid down from 11,000 or so down to 10,000, losing about 1,000. You can see a similar thing kind of occurring right over here in in May, where we hit that 9,000 some level, and then we've kind of come back down to the 8,900 level. So it was a loss of about $100. So it's an important piece to take a look at, and you can see very parabolic sort of move when we take a look at the daily chart. Of course, this fuchsia color thing is very much hand drawn, so it's not like 100% perfect, but I think you will see that it follows pretty clearly of where it's happening. And again, I don't like when the hockey stick goes up because it goes back down. I like it when it's a little bit less steep, but again, this is on the daily. Let's take a look at the 1 week. And the 1 week, I mean, it's a basically one straight up. On the monthly range, it's looking, it's a very 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 above the range kind of stuff, but it follows it pretty nicely, and it's straight above it, which is actually kind of still very very bullish. Again, it just depends on how you look at your chart. If we take a look at the 1 hour, we're still very much within the envelope, and it lets me know that we're still okay, but a pullback is possible and it's not unheard of. So be very very cautious, very very careful. Don't chase the rallies. Again, dollar cost, daily cost, monthly cost average makes sense. Bitcoin average, BTC, no, BCA, sorry, BTC is the coin, Lord Nav. If we drive up to 19,050 this week, this is coming from Bloom the analyst, I would expect a pullback to the 17,000 level. In the past, Bitcoin has retraced sharp up moves, but this time there is one missing ingredient: the lack of auto liquidation of leveraged longs. And so that's an interesting piece that is happening. So be careful if you do that stuff, because you can get wrecked. Now, we did have another analyst to talk about the Bitcoin, and here is what they have said. It's Preston Push, or Pish, or I would say Push, but it's PYSH. Preston, you might likely have seen his video or seen him interviewed. Really, really smart guy. I really like listening and hearing from him. He saw insane gains for the rest of this year in August, with Bitcoin just 2,000 off record level 3 months later. Bitcoin hitting new all-time highs by Christmas is beginning to look conservative, but one analyst called current levels back in August. The Investors Forecast Network, Preston Push, predicted 90% end of the year returns for BTC USD pair when the pair traded at only 11,400. Quote, "You should be making a new all-time high by Christmas 2020. That means you've got 80 to 90% upside from here, which is insane." He added that gold would fail to match anything like Bitcoin's growth, something that has come true since his announcement. BTC USD hit a high of 18,400 overnight on Tuesday, capping extraordinary 24-hour that saw gains hit 10%. We're a little bit down since then, but that's what it was at the time. This week, he recalled another statement from August in which he endorsed the projection of quantitative analyst Plant B's stock to flow price forecasting model, which we've been talking about. You should be following that because he's doing an amazing job with this stuff as well. As Plan B himself continues to note, Bitcoin is behaving exactly in line with expectations following the start of its third halving since May of this year. And right here we have this beautiful chart. It kind of shows what's happening here in the 2017, how we kind of hit this bottom, came to the new regional high, came back down, the crash of March, and the beautiful upside of it. And then he has this like um, really really high and steep sort of climb on up. And it's been following that pattern since then. Now, one of the things that we also they cover in this article, which I think is interesting, and we talked about it here on the channel, is that Dalio, if you remember, was saying how Bitcoin is like, there's no use case or anything else. Interesting piece happened is that there was a lot of turmoil when he did that whole piece from folks everywhere. We talked about it on this channel. I'm sure that the other channels have discussed it as well. However, he actually appeared to have come on Twitter, it looks like, and admit that he didn't understand it. Quote, I might be missing something about Bitcoin, so I'd love to be corrected. That's what he wrote. And he said that he's open to be taught and learn more about Bitcoin and the facts and how it's being used, which is amazing and exciting. So I love people who, they make predictions. They're confident enough to sort of do their own calls, but they're not so stubborn and so stuck in their ways, which we all have been there. I have been there, to be open minded and say, well, wait a minute. I have my views. Your views are different from my views. Help me see your views and why you see it the way you do. That is the best thing. I'm not saying change your views on the whim, but be open minded to see what and why, to look for new evidence, to look for what evidence there might be that you might be right or you might be wrong, to correct that and correct your biases. I always look for ways to say, how am I wrong with this stuff, to correct my own personal biases. So there we go. This is it for today. I hope you have enjoyed it. Smash the like button if you haven't already. If you are, hit one for Bitcoin, if nothing else, or the free education and the free news that we are doing here, commercial free, at least for now. We'll see. I might change my mind, but I do like doing it for now, just because commercials drive me nuts. But hey, everybody else is doing it, making money on the side, and thinking, why is Nev the only idiot not doing that thing? So we'll see. I might get onto that trade. But let me know how you feel about the whole thing and everything we discussed. And if you will subscribe, and if you will put notifications, and if you will show up live, I will then see you tomorrow. Until then, stay forever money blessed, and do remember, you are only one deal away.